For the first time in club history, the Union have defeated Atlanta United in MLS play at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We go over the team's 1-0 win down south before setting the stage for an Eastern Conference contender coming to Subaru Park this weekend. All that and more as Union Insider starts right now. Hey everyone, welcome back to Union Insider presented by Independence Blue Cross. I'm Marisa alongside club legends Sheanon Williams and Sebastian Letou. Well guys, this was a big weekend for the Union because they went into their matchup against Atlanta United, winning 4 of their last 5 games. It's a trend that started with a 3-0 win over that same Atlanta team at home on April 19th. But returning the favor in Atlanta wouldn't be so easy because the Union never won an MLS match down there in the Big A. But here's how it all went down at Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
All right, boys, even though we're playing away from home, we get to control our destiny, all right? We get to control the spaces, all right? We're organized, we're compact, that's key, all right? By no means is this a cakewalk tonight, all right? We're gonna have to ride a few waves, we're gonna take a gut punch, all right? And then make sure we stick together, come out on the other side, all right? As big as this locker room is, we're gonna have to be tight, connected, compact, and brave.
Lennon lifting in, shot in once, and he was measuring it overhead, but away on strikes on the door! And it deflected once and twice on its way through.
Boys, we're halfway there, all right? Now we start tightening the screw up. Promise you now. Win the first ball, win the second one, in behind, okay? Come on, boys, tighten the screw now.
Early and forward towards Ua. Guzanov is led and missed his kick, and it went into an empty net, and the sliding challenge coming from Abram. There's a suggestion of handball here.
After review, there's a handling offense by Atlanta number 34. The final decision is the yellow card.
Here is Ty Baribo, and Guzan went the right way, but couldn't make the save. And the Golden Boot leader makes it number 11 on the season, and the Union lead in Atlanta. Almador lifted to the back post. Almidon and Lonjanidze wanted it. Maislava caught Lonjanidze, and Rick with the touch, and swept away from Harriel. And lifted into that area, and into Latte Lat, and Derek Williams with a save from Rick. How many times has he come up huge tonight? And there is the full-time whistle. It's an 8th game without a win for Atlanta United as Philadelphia get another big away win, the 5th win in 6. Ty Baribo converts the penalty. Atlanta 0, Philadelphia 1 at full-time.
Let's go, baby, come on!
That's how the game looked and sounded at Atlanta United. Now let's hear from the team. Here's Quinn Sullivan on the team's win over Atlanta and what to make of their hot streak as of late.
Yeah, look, it's a really good vibe. We're winning games, so it's always good when you're top of the table team. Huge result this weekend with the 1-0 win on the road. Team effort, a lot of guys came in the game, different guys started, and it was an all-around great performance from the team. So, team wins, road wins are always awesome in this league. And, this year's a new team with a lot of the same guys, but, a different team, a different fight, and, already having that amount of wins is great. But I don't think there's a ton of satisfaction in that. Obviously, we know how capable we are as a team, so having that is, the outside noise we try, or at least I try not pay attention to. I think it's more important to know what we have in the locker room, to know the talent we have and the team. And you see, it doesn't really matter what the outside people think. If your team is together and you want to win and you put team performances together, you can win games and be at the top of the table in this league.
So it was a 1-0 win for the Union down at Atlanta, but this one went into halftime being scoreless. What did you make of the first half with the Union?
So I was there, and it was a little bit different, lineup, like Quinn Sullivan said, some changes, into the midfield. You had Bueno, you had Bedoya, and the fact that they played at the beginning as a 3-5-2 was a little bit different. And you saw that Lukic on the right, Westfield on the left was not maybe as comfortable at the beginning of the game. And right, maybe after 15 minutes, you saw, Bradley Carnell make back a switch and go back into a 4-4-2, I think, who, makes the team play a little bit better offensively. But it was a very good, team performance, defensively, not giving, any space to Atlanta, who kind of were struggling as well to create opportunity. We had a big, Andrew Rick in a goal who made like huge save, especially at the end of the game to keep the 1-0, who for me was probably like the man of the match. And at the end, on the little opportunities they were created, especially coming at halftime, with Baribo coming in, for Donovan, and the run of Ua, in a space really helped, in the first 5 minutes of this second half to put some pressure on Atlanta, get a PK, get a goal, and at the end it was a very professional performance for the team, and we got the 3 points, which was, we are coming from. And now, like Quinn Sullivan says, they're, in the first place in the standing. So it's sweet, but, the work, it's still, to be done. Every game is different, but it was a very good 3 points away from home for the Union and the first win in Atlanta.
First place is always a good place to be, even if you can't really dwell on the success of it right now. What did you make of Andrew Rick? Because as Seba said, he really kept the Union in this game.
Yeah, for me, I think this has been his best game. We saw him do his best Andre Blake impression, and it looked like Andre was in goal. So I think for him, he's growing in confidence. For somebody that's his age and how young he is, he's played now in a lot of games. So if he can continue to get games under his belt, you'll see that confidence start to grow, and you'll see why this Union team and this Union coaching staff have so much faith in Andrew Rick when Andre Blake isn't in goal.
Yeah, and the confidence it gives to that back line as well, because we know that those personnel can change game to game.
Absolutely. This is a player that knows that he's going to get games, especially with Andre having to go away for international duties, Gold Cup coming up. This is somebody that knows that his chance is there if he can take it. And I thought this game was a good step in that direction for him, really solidifying his role as a keeper and a backup keeper that can really come in and make sure that this team continues to turn over even when Andre's not there.
Right. The best part about having a solid backup goalkeeper is not missing a beat when they step in. And he had those hold your breath kind of moments down in Atlanta, but he came out so big. Another hold your breath moment was the penalty call for Ty Baribo. What did you see in the build-up of that play?
I mean, it started, again with more Kai Wagner playing on the left side, with how he can deliver this nice ball, from the midfield into the space. It was a great run for Mike Arua, and even if, let's say, the shot of Mike Arua, I don't think we are going to go in a goal because he was defending on the line, but he hit the hand of the defender of Atlanta. It's a normal, penalty kick, review from the referee, and at the end, Baribo, who scored his first PK, for the team, didn't, shake, strong, using, the turf, pulling, Brad Guzan not able, to be quick enough to save it. And at the end, it's a huge goal away from home and getting the win 1-0. Lots of great things, defensively from the team. We maybe not create as many opportunities, but that's a part of the game. And I think, the team offensively did a good job when they needed to, especially starting the second half strong and getting an early goal.
We talked a lot about Andrew Rick, and we're going to keep talking about him because Sheanon's over at the big board right now to give you the play of the week presented by Subaru. It was one of his best saves, and it happened to come really at the end of the match.
Our key play of the week is going to be Andrew Rick's save. This is about 5 minutes left in the game, and you'll see how well he does to make himself big, not guess about where the shot's going to go. Ball comes in, it gets laid off, and then instead of guessing, he makes himself really tall, makes sure that the attacker really has to beat him with the shot. Obviously not the best shot as it's a comfortable save for him, but he does such a good job not to go down and guess to the right or the left where he's thinking he might go. He does a good job just to stand up tall here and put a good hand on it, and he gets it away to the side. Andrew Rick was huge in this game, and this is a save right at the end of the game that the Union really needed to get 3 points.
A confident save there too, Seba. We've got more Union Insider for you in a bit, but first, here's your Union trivia question presented by United Concordia. Ty Baribo is the 5th player in Union history to record 3 multi-goal games in a season. Who are the other 4? Find out the answer later in the show. Welcome back to Union Insider presented by Independence Blue Cross. The Union recently announced the signing of former Charlotte FC #1 overall pick Ben Bender, and Bender has made his first roster for the Union this past weekend against Atlanta. But who is Ben Bender? We got to know the newest Union player during his first few days in Chester.
You have a new guy that you added today. What's your experience with Ben? What are your expectations of him?
Yeah, listen, I think as we go through these summer months now, and I think we need a lot of bodies in and around our training environment. We need a lot of bodies in and around game day environments, and he's come in and he has a certain skill set. and we think he has something to offer that maybe could be lacking in our roster. So, you know, he can finish off plays, has a good goal scoring record, and is highly talented, you know, coming out, you know, super draft pick and number 1 in the league, and, you know, we're happy to have him with us, and we just need to get him up to speed early, especially with our style of play.
Nice to meet you. Welcome.
We're actually gonna have you change in here, and then we're gonna do everything in this one room right across the hall.
Got it. I was here for a year in the academy in 2015, and I enjoyed my time. Very professional environment. Feels like a full circle moment to be back here, just around the area. I grew up going to the games and wanted to play on the field one day. It was called Talent Energy Stadium, now Subaru Park, and hoping to get some more moments there now.
Now the other way. Ben, do you know a lot of our homegrowns from the academy?
I'm an 01, so I knew EJ, Cousins, Pellegrino,
Oh yeah.
Black Block, all those
You were
guys.
there what, 15 to 16?
14 to 15. Jack DeVries.
Yeah.
I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, which is only like an hour and 20 minutes from here. I have 2 older brothers that played soccer. I went to University of Maryland for a year and a half, and then I got drafted to Charlotte. I spent the past 3.5 years or so there, and yeah, so now I'm back in Philly. I'd say I'm an attacking-minded player. You know, I'm like to say that I can finish the ball with both feet. And I like making runs in behind. I've done that one. That one's savage. Trying to be scrappy. And then also, you know, I think I can create a little bit. So a little bit in the final third.
Is this the mark? The black one, yes.
Most of the guys have been friendly since I've been here. They all enjoy being with one another on a day-to-day basis. I've only been here 4 days, but I can see that really clearly. Yeah, and the coaching staff and Ernst and everyone has been very, very welcoming, so I've been grateful for that. Jumped right into it. The sessions are high intensity, and that's what I need to get up to speed, and yeah, hopefully can add to the strength of the group that's already there and continue on the winning ways that they've started off this season. My locker's next to Nate, and he's been asking me some great questions, welcoming me in. Another guy's Indy. I think he's been pretty funny so far. Lukic is, he's got a friend that was in Charlotte that played for Charlotte, so we had a little bit of a connection there, so yeah. To be able to be in a different environment and to be in a place where they really value development, and you know, I want to be willing to develop in the ways that they see me, and I want to, you know, add value to the team, because I think it's a quality team like you've seen in the results, and you know, would love to continue to help the team remain there and hopefully get trophies in the end. So yeah.
We're coming up on a break for Union Insider, but when we return, the guys will give their keys to the game for a Union victory against another Eastern Conference opponent this weekend. We'll be right back after this. Time for this week's Union Update presented by Torque. Last week, the Union held a community fridge event in partnership with Penn Medicine and the Boys and Girls Club, which was the 1-year anniversary of the first community fridge. The community fridge is a nonprofit that takes donated excess produce and distributes it back into the community. Overall, 20,000 meals have been distributed to Chester and surrounding communities throughout the community fridge. Welcome back to Union Insider presented by Independence Blue Cross. I'm Marisa Pilla here with Sebastian Letou and Sheanon Williams. Well, the Union returned home this weekend against a team they've already faced once this season as they try to even the season series with Inter Miami at Subaru Park on Saturday. So we all know the drill. It's time for Keys to the Game presented by Subaru. Seba, your key, sir.
So since we know, we are still winless against, let's say, Lionel Messi, team since he joined the team. I think, for me, when the team is the most successful at home, it's when we got support, into the attack. We don't just let, our two forward into the box. I would like to see, a lot of support, from Denley, who has been very good, being like a late runner. I would like to see, Quinn Sullivan and Vasilev, if they have the start, being into the box as well when there is a cross, happening from the opposite side on the field. But we are always, very successful scoring goals when there is movement and there is people into this box who can, really put a struggling, I think, Miami defense, who has been giving a lot of goals in the past couple of games. So I would really love to see that from the beginning, from the get-go, and not having a reaction like we saw against LA Galaxy. It's going to be a total different game because we all know that Miami is going to come with their best team. I heard that, the number 10 of their team were not really happy, and maybe a talk, this week with their teammate to really take this game seriously and come back. So we need, everybody to be ready, and it's going to be a tough game. But if they do that, and if they keep, frustrate this Miami team who has not been very good defensively with great support, numbers into the box, we should be able to score a few goals on Saturday.
Yeah, let's frustrate that Miami team a little bit. Sheanon, for you?
My key to the game is going to be for this Union team to be clinical in front of goal. Can they do a good job of not only creating chances, but also finishing those chances? When Dave and I were down in Miami for their matchup earlier this season, they created so many chances, but just weren't able to finish. And the difference in that game was Miami had 2 or 3 chances that they finished off, and the Union weren't able to complete that comeback. So if they can do a better job of just being more clinical in front of goal, I think this Miami team will give up chances like Seba talked about. They've given up a ton of goals. Can this Union team take advantage of that?
Seba, you said how Miami's defense is struggling as of late. Given how well the Union are doing, what matchups, bode well in the Union's favor?
I mean, we have the best scorer in the league right now in our team, so I'm hoping, that Baribo is going to keep on his streak, finding so nice run, into the box. We got, Michael Hua, has been very good, helping the team, maybe not in goals, but with his movement, creating, giving assists, getting, some PKs. It's something that if we have our, 2 strikers, playing well together, I think we can have, great success in front of the goal, and hopefully, getting more than 1, maybe 2, hopefully maybe 3 goals on Saturday.
Does this feel like the right time for the Union to be playing Miami, given how well they're playing?
Absolutely. They have all the momentum going into this game. They're in first place. They have everything going for them at the moment. Can they get a win against a team that they most likely will see in playoffs and later on down the road? So just to build that momentum, keep going. They're undefeated in the month of May. Can they keep that streak alive, especially at home at the Sub?
Yeah, how much do you think a home match plays into them playing well?
I think it's massive. I think that when you look at MLS in totality, I think that usually the home teams are the ones that are coming out with the points. So if the Union can keep that trend going, I think that they're going to put themselves in good shape going into the summer.
As this team got ready for their first match against Miami earlier in the season, we talked about how interesting it would be to see a Bradley Carnell team not get blinded by the big names of Miami. How well do you think they did last time, and how can they kind of build on that in this weekend?
Yeah, I think last time, let's say, Messi did a little bit of a difference when he came on. I think they were still, when you play away in Miami, especially at the beginning of the year with a new team, it was a little bit different. Like Sheanon said, we created a lot of opportunity, but it was more defensively. We kind of give up, the goal maybe we should have not. Now, you're back at home. It's been almost, halfway through the season. We are still, close to beat it. And you play a Miami team is behind you. Can we, be able to kind of pass the fact that, yes, there is, big name into that teams, but we are here, to get as many points as I can at home before going on the 2-game road trip. It's very important for the team to put Miami, as far away as possible, because we know that the team has big quality, and as we said, right now they are not really in the best time of the season for them. So could we, keep them struggling and getting a W at home? Is what we want, and it doesn't matter who's going to play, but we all know that they're going to probably play their best team, and all the big names are going to be on the field on Saturday.
It's time for our last break of the show, but when we return, the guys will give their final thoughts for the show as the Union prepare to take on Inter Miami on Saturday. Union Insider returns right after this. Here's the answer to this week's Union Trivia question presented by United Concordia. Ty Baribo joins Sebastian Letou, CJ Sapong, Julian Carranza, and Daniel Gazdag as the only players in Union history to record 3 multi-goal games in a season. Now, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. It feels like Seba is writing these trivia questions. I'm just going to put it out there. I feel like
it's been a couple of weeks I was not a part of it.
You were feeling left out.
I had a talk with.
It's not always
producer.
about you, Seba. It's our final segment here on Union Insider, presented by Independence Blue Cross. It's time for these guys to share their final thoughts for the show in this week's edition of Final Whistle, presented by Allstate. Sheanon, what are your final thoughts?
Big game at the Sub. The Union are no longer the underdog. They're now the hunted, especially being in first place. How do they deal with that? How do they go into this game and pick up 3 points? I'm interested to see the approach to the game and how they react once the whistle goes and then the bright lights are on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's any motivation needed, for the team to get a result, on Saturday against the Miami team who is going to come to the Subaru Park to really get the 3 points. So it's going to be a fun game, a great atmosphere, to be a part of it. I just want to see the team, playing from the first minute until the 90 minutes. Can they have, against probably one of the best teams as well in the East, a full performance at home and, just enjoy and, make the crowd, see another good W at Subaru Park.
Yeah, we want a full 90-minute performance from this team. That's going to do it for this one. The Union are back at home Saturday as they look to split the season series with Inter Miami. Sebastian will be alongside Dave Leno for the radio call on 97.5 The Fanatic. The game can also be seen on MLS Season Pass. And it's also, guys, the last day for our intern, Daniel Terafay. And we just wanted to thank him for his great work with us and wish him the best. He's officially a college grad, right, guys?
Thanks, Dan.
Congratulations for Marisa. I'm Marisa for Seba and Sheanon. We'll see you next week.